G'day guys and welcome to the Goodyear Autocare Warana V8-T2 E-Series. We are live from Sonoma for the SuperSprint round. 2 races, action-packed racing. Alongside me in the commentary booth, the man himself, Aidan Schultz. How are you, buddy?
Good evening, Matt. Very well, mate. Thank you. Thank you for having me again for the next round of the Goodyear Autocare Warana V8-T2 E-Series. It's been an amazing series so far, so looking forward to a super sprint round tonight.
Yeah, mate. Round 5 SuperSprint, 2 action-packed races. First race of 12 laps, and then off to the main feature race, which is 20 laps around this great circuit. Lot of undulation around here, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of elevation change, a lot of deep braking zones, and a lot of fast-paced corners. So it's going to be action-packed tonight. We'll see if we can get the track notes up on screen very shortly, just to run you through them straight off the bat, just to give you an idea what you're in for tonight. 3.2 kilometers in length. As I said earlier, 12 laps for race 1, 20 laps for race 2. So covering a total distance of 102 kilometers tonight. No fuel restrictions and no pit stops, so that's going to be interesting, with an average fuel burn of 3.16 litres a lap. So track temp nice and hot as well, up to 38 degrees. So, and it's going to be interesting around here, especially when the tyres start to go away.
Yeah, it's going to be sensational. The no pit stops and all that is going to be great for these guys. So for you viewers at home, you're just going to be seeing these guys send it for both the 12 and 20 laps. So it's just going to be all out, elbows out, and who can be first to the flag. So really excited to see how this pans out. But the most interesting thing that we see in qualifying at the moment is some of the lead contenders are not really inside that top 10. So don't know if the track's not suiting them or they're not feeling it, but that's going to shake things up a little bit.
No, you called it right there, mate. A few of our leaders, Dave Nash, all those boys, the top 3 championship leaders, they're a little bit down the field. Obviously, the track's not coming and not gelling with them tonight, so it is warm out there on track at the moment. As I said, it's about 38 degrees, so cars are tending to slip and slide around here a lot. So a few of the guys who like to really throw the cars into the corners and get them gripped up, this is definitely going to suit them tonight, because you definitely have to go full send mode and through some of these corners. Now, with the racing, mixing it up tonight, Aidan, race 2, we are going reverse grids, so that's going to be a big, interesting and talking point tonight.
It will be. It's going to be sensational viewing for the viewers. As I said earlier, that's something a little bit different, and it's going to be really important to see how these guys finish in the first race. It's going to determine where they are. It's okay to have a good first race, but then it's going to put you down in the pack, and you're going to, as I said before, have to get your elbows out to really make the pass. You're going to have to commit early and go there. So really excited to see what the boys are going to put on tonight.
Yeah, mate, that's it. Now, it's definitely going to make for some tight racing, especially race 2. Faster guys coming up on the slower guys. You're going to be seeing a lot of the slower guys really make those cars wide, really try and hold back those guys. We're on board with Dylan Pereira now, who's currently up in 2nd position in qualifying. So spectacular laps by him tonight. This track's obviously gelling with him, as he's on board through now one of the trickiest parts of the track. So we'll go for a hot lap. We'll stay with him, and we'll run through a quick lap with him as he goes across the start-finish line, Aidan. Give the guys and girls at home a bit of an insight to what it's like to really tackle Sonoma, as the Simshed Broadcasting is the round sponsor tonight for the Goodyear Autocare Warana V8-T2 E-Series. Now, it's tyre life, it's going to be a big one. 12 laps. You really don't start to hurt the tyres there, but the second race here, guys and girls, that's when the tyres are really going to start playing with the drives. That's when they're starting to really heat up, fade away, really starting to push. So you're going to be watching the cars really slip and slide all over the place. As we come through the hairpin onto the main straight, up into 3rd gear, up into 4th, clicking up the gears, holding it flat out through the left-hander as you come across the start-finish line here. Up into 6th gear quickly, quick lift of the throttle, and just ride that brake ever so slightly through turns 1, 2, and 3. up over the hill, easy on the throttle. Try not to let the car understeer like Dylan Pereira just did. Big shake up as he calls it quits on that one. That was very lucky for Dylan there, Aiden.
Very lucky for Dylan, and as you've mentioned earlier, it's a very busy circuit. If we can get another lap of another driver at some stage, maybe we might be too late now, but they don't have time to think. It's happening so quickly. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of breath held through this race because there's a lot of change in direction, a lot of undulation, and it's full send all race.
Yeah, it is, mate. And while we wait for the boys just to settle themselves down for another lap, we'll move on to the championship standings at the moment and bring up your top 10 here on screen for you guys and girls. Sam Noble out on top with 575 points. Only 2 points behind him, though, is old mate Nicky G with 555. So tightening right up at the top of the field there. Matty Scholes down in third position with 551. Dan Stevens with 544. Kai Turner, our current top qualifier at the moment for this session, down in fifth position with 540 points. Johnny Bain, I've been pronouncing it Ben, but he's corrected me last week. It's Johnny Bain, down at sixth position, 522 points. Tony Gaffer, 520. Daryl Hockey, fantastic race from him at Oran Park, 519 points in eighth position. David Nash, he's really dropped down the standings at the moment. Aiden is down in ninth position with 506. Tied with him in ninth position is Trent McCarthy. So David Nash hasn't been too lucky, Anton. Anton, I should say Aiden, if I can spit my word out correctly.
Yeah, no, he hasn't. And we see there Dean Alessi in P11 with 505 points and young Rian Leonage in 486. He had a really, really good start to the season and was up in the top three. So it just goes to show that how quickly fortunes can turn. And tonight, that's really going to show that, I think, in these sprint races. So it's important for guys to have good, solid results, not necessarily win it tonight. But then we go to 13th. We have Shane Clark on 483 points. 14th, Max Losh on 448 points. In 15th, we have Aaron Hayden on 442 points, followed by Damien Cairns on 440 points. In 17th, Peter Latham with 436 points. 18th, Robert Brow on 422 points, closely followed by Dean Reddit on 419 points. And in 20th position, we have Craig Casper on 398 points.
We'll just wrap up the field here. Luke Georgeson, Aaron Racanello, Robbie Bradbury, Danny Vassell, Paul Gerlin, Colin Bruns, Cole Booth, Andrew Johnson, Dylan Lagarde, and Stephen Black rounding out the top 30 there. The three E1 sim racing boys down the back there. Now back to the young Leonage, mate. Currently sitting in third qualifying here, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously the track's gelling with him. He's been watching a few laps of him in practice and the lead up to the broadcast, and he's got that car absolutely planted. So definitely one to look out for this race. It looks like he may be on for a good one, but come reverse grid, he may struggle just a little bit to try and fight his way through the field. We know he's a great defender, but can he attack and get those moves done?
Yeah, it's going to be about racecraft for young Rian. He's going to be in the thick of it. If he goes well in the first race, that is, we don't know what's going to happen. Like, we know people are going to be putting the car in, trying to make every position they can, but it's only 2 tenths off pole at the moment, so he's doing really well.
That's it, mate. That's it. Just had a bit of news in the background of my ear. I'll just get that relayed back to me quickly. We're on a purple sector here, so we could be looking at a new... Oh, as he goes off track. Was purple sectored. Then he's taken the old shortcut in the dirt, decided to mow the grass. Well, what's left of the grass anyway there on the outfield, and ruined his lap. So he'll get ready for another one. As we've got Dylan Pereira now on screen coming down the main straight. Looks like he's set for another flying lap, so I wonder if he can better on his second position currently. Just a quick run through the field as well, and we've got Kai Turner out on top with Pereira in second, Leonage in third. Who else we got? We've got Nash in fourth. Daryl Hockey, he's up there in fifth, so good qualifying by him. Mitch Campbell from 9-5 Sim Sports up in sixth. Dean Alessi in seventh. Dan Stevens eighth. Aaron Racanello, he's had another good qualifying session up in ninth. And Matty Scholes rounding out your top 10. Aiden?
Yeah, really good qualifying from those guys. And we look at the times, there's only 8 tenths between the top 10, so really, really close. It's going to be really exciting to see what the race pace is here, to see, it's in qualifying. They can all do one lap, but whether these tyres are going to hold on and how hard they want to push it early. The 12-lap race, I don't think it'll matter as much as the 20, obviously, but going to be fun to watch and see how these guys strategize this race and how hard they want to push too early.
Well, a bit of an insight for you guys just on tyres. As we all know, Tuesday nights, it's all about the nationwide tracking systems, Super Series, the big guns out in front there. I was obviously in that race last night, and I can tell you right now, 12 laps, I really noticed the tyres starting to fade. So that's sort of border point for these boys tonight in race 1. They might be able to push it really hard, but race 2, they're really going to have to look after. As I said, 12 laps, 13 laps, they really started to fade, especially punching out qualifying laps, lap after lap after lap. The tyres do not like it around this hot circuit.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And when those tyres do wear off, it just takes one mistake. They're going to be line astern in this. So one mistake, you go off the track, you could lose 5, 6, 7 positions, and then it's really hard to pass. So
that's it, mate. And obviously, guys, before we wrap up your qualifying session for you, Aiden, I'll hand this over to you, mate. It's the sponsors. Obviously, none of this is possible without them. So I'll let you fire through them as we wrap up qualifying, mate.
Yeah, definitely not allowed to do this without the great sponsors we've got behind us in this year's series. So Goodyear, Autocare, Warana as the naming rights sponsor. We thank you guys. Get on and follow those guys and like them and support them. The co-naming sponsors is Blue Stampede Labour Hire and Abruzzi Australia. Thank you to JP as the broadcaster of SimShed Broadcasting to be able to bring these images to you guys. Also, the camera packs are supplied by Tracks for Gourmets, and the beautiful overlays you're seeing tonight are supplied by STK Gaming. So jump on, follow those guys on social if you can follow them in real life and help them out as well. Get on and do that, because without those guys, you wouldn't be seeing what you see tonight.
And also a big thank you to SimShed Broadcasting for bringing you the SimShed Broadcasting Sonoma SuperSprint, the start of the SuperSprint Triple Crown. So guys, this is the beginning for that Triple Crown for the SuperSprints. It is what's going to be setting the pace for everybody else. We're going to have 2 different race winners and an overall round winner. If they can get the hat trick, mate, that's going to be something amazing.
If they can go 3 from 3, 2 race wins and the overall round win, that'll be sensational for the driver, because I tell you what, it's going to be hard around here, but for what we're seeing here, it's going to be an exciting night's racing.
Yeah, well, the top 20 are only separated by a second, so there is nothing in it. If you want to know what a second looks like, look at your screen right there. That is about, I'd call it about 0.8 of a second right there. So not much more than that than a second. So imagine 20 cars all within that gap. That is what a second looks like, ladies and gentlemen. So it is tight, absolutely tight in the top 20, but it's still tight throughout the whole bottom remainder of the field. So it is going to provide some action-packed racing as we start to wrap up qualifying here, get everybody getting their last laps in. Aiden, obviously we'll go to who you think your driver of the night's going to be. I've got my money on, I'm going to go again. He had a bit of a bad round last week. Dylan Pereira, I've got my money on him. The rookie, he's proving himself again tonight, putting himself on second for qualifying. He hasn't been able to be knocked off yet, so my money's on him.
Yeah, I was coming into the night without seeing this. I was on Sam Noble because he's been driving amazing. But looking where we are now in qualifying and looking how the drivers have held themselves through the first couple of rounds, I think David Nash is a pretty good bet out of P4. His racecraft has been amazing and he's been able to hold that car good. So I think he's going to be good. Obviously, we can't write off young Rian, but my money's going to be on David.
Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. The driver bets are in for us, boys. So leave a comment in the section below. Let us know who you want to be the race winners for tonight. Actually, that'd be interesting to know. I believe our director might be able to relay that back to us, who wants what. So leave a comment down below, and don't forget to also share the stream to family, friends, and obviously throughout the pages. Get it out there. and get these sponsors known as we start to see our final laps in qualifying. Our timer isn't working tonight, so there's 2 seconds. There we go. So that is qualifying done, ladies and gentlemen. So grid's starting to set. The drivers are starting to get the cars out on track and grid up for race 1 of the SimShed Broadcasting Sonoma SuperSprint. And that's different, Aiden. There is the iRacing safety car out on field. So it looks like it's going to be a rolling start, ladies and gentlemen. So that might be a saviour. There might not be much turn one action tonight, but it's a little bit of a saviour. So all the boys are gridding up. We'll get to who is where on the grid for you guys and girls. We have Kai Turner out on top with a blistering lap from Middle Finger Racing. Dylan Pereira, the rookie, followed up in second on row 1 there. Row 2, Rian Leonage and David Nash. Row 3, Daryl Hockey and Matty Scholes. Out of row 4, we've got Mitch Campbell and Dean Alessi. And ran out the top 10 in row 5. We've got Dan Stevens, Aaron Raccanello, with Damien Cairns and Shane Clark not far behind him on row 6.
Yeah, in row 7, Matt, we've got Stephen Martin out of 13, Tony Gaffer out of 14. Row 8 is Dean Reddit and Nicky G, our man Nicky G. Row 9, Sam Noble and Trent McCarthy. Out of row 10 is Danny Vassell and Jonathan Bain. 21st, Robbie Bradbury, and 22nd, Luke Georgeson. 23rd is Dylan Lagarde, and for the Dragon RC Esports team, we have Aaron Hayden out of P24.
Off row 13, guys, we've got Kai Booth a long way down the field. So out in the Goodyear Autocare Warana Esports entry with Colin Bruns just behind him. Stephen Black from E1 with Max Losh out on row 14. Liam James, he's had a step down from the NTS series. He's now in the GAC series. So good to see him out on track still. He's down on row 15, followed up behind him by Craig Gurry. Paul Gerlin and Pete Kelly round out the 16th row. And we've got Andrew Johnson down there in last place in 33rd position. So here we go. Rolling start. Not something we're used to seeing. We're used to seeing the boys out on the grid. Engine revs are rising and the lights going out. So who's going to get the jump tonight? Who's going to be the one to go, right, see you later, check out nice and early, just like Brandon Costello did last night. He got an absolute blistering start in race 1. Jumped the gun. Safety car pulled off, and as that pulled off, he just hit that loud pedal and went through the hairpin and said, see you later, boys and girls, try and catch me, and pulled out a 3-second lead straight off the bat. So who's going to do that tonight? Who's going to follow suit? Not something they're used to either. So, Aiden, it's something they're going to have to sort of get a feel of.
Yeah, they definitely will. And as you know, Matt, from my background, I do a lot of NASCAR oval stuff. So doing this is not unusual for myself. So they're going to be going off the green. They have to anticipate that. It's going to be a lot of horsepower running into 1, 2, and 3 with this big freight train. So it's going to be who's willing to do safety management, I think, through these first 3 laps, first 3 corners to be able to get through to settle in, because anything's going to happen here because they're going to be steaming in there at 100 mile an hour.
Right, as we see, obviously, Dylan Pereira, the rookie, not really used to roll starting, should be right up there next to Kai Turner as he starts to pull in now, right up alongside, as we're on board with Kai Turner now, as he's following the safety car. Let's see who gets the jump, ladies and gentlemen. So, sit back, grab a drink, because this is going to be action-packed for the SimShed Broadcasting Sonoma Super Sprint. Safety car is off. Kai Turner bolts into the hairpin. Here he goes. Dylan Pereira on the inside. Gets a nice run on Kai Turner there. Catches up a little bit of gap. Everybody through nice and cleanly. Foot to the floor through the last turn. Out onto the main straight. Lights are green. We are underway for the SimShed Broadcasting Sonoma Super Sprint. Kai Turner out in front with Dylan Pereira just behind him. Brian Leonage with a fantastic start. David Nash just behind him. Dylan Pereira still giving Kai Turner all the possible nose he can give him. In the mirrors, in and out, left and right. As they come up over the blind corner, over the hill. Don't excite the rears. Remember, boys, cold tyres. Down the hill, hard on the brakes. Let the car flow through. Looks like we've got everyone through cleanly. So that rolling start could have played dividends for everybody. Kai Turner runs a little bit wide. Dylan Pereira picks up the apex beautiful and gets a little bit of run on Kai Turner as they come through one of the fastest bits of the track. Flat out through here. Little bit of squirming. Cold tyres aren't really warming up just yet.
And that was a really good start by all the drivers. That goes against everything that I thought was going to happen. That was brilliant driving by everyone. Now they've all settled in. Their line astern. Let's see who's going to push hard early. It's a really quick race, 12 laps. They need to make the passes early, or are they happy to just get a solid finish and go for the reverse grid?
As we just watch Mr. Clark go up on the inside by the looks of it on the Dragon RC entry. So there is already positions being made, but I haven't heard race control or seen many drivers off track. So it looks like it was a clean start by all 33 drivers tonight. No one's off track, I just heard. So awesome start, awesome race. So that rolling start, Aiden, mate, I think that was the saviour on this one.
Yeah, but this might be the calm before the storm. We've got the 20 lapper yet. They might just all be feeling each other out for the next one. So, but really amazing driving by all the drivers to be able to start cleanly. There's a couple of guys that have made a couple of moves early as we watch Mitch Campbell from the 9.5 Sim Sport team there. Sam Noble, rather, sorry. In behind my favourite KFC car. So, yeah, it's been a great start by all the guys.
Yeah, it has been. Not a few big movers. The biggest mover so far in the top 20 is Nicky G. He's gone up 3 spots into 13th position. So Rehan Leonage under pressure here by Mr. David Nash. As David Nash tries to go around the outside of the hairpin. That is the long way around here. But he gets the run onto the straight and into turn 1 here. Does he show a nose? Yes, he does, but he doesn't get up far enough to be able to make a move. Does he go over and under? No, he doesn't. Tucks in behind young Leonage. Decides to follow him for another lap. Very few overtaking opportunities here tonight, Aiden. I believe we've got turn 1 into the hairpin, and a couple down here as David Nash right up onto the bumper.
This is it now. Oh, Rian's broken late.
Outbroke him magnificently.
I didn't think he was going to get it through there, Matt, to be honest.
No, not at all. David Nash has really got a battle on his hands right now. He's got to figure out how to get past the young Leonage, who is driving that NTS entry absolutely flawlessly. He is putting that car everywhere where David Nash doesn't want him to put that car. So, awesome driving by the youngster right there. As we have a look, let's see if he has a look up on the inside of the hairpin. Does he get a nice run? Looks like he does. Not enough to make a move up the inside. He shows a little bit of a nose. Gets right up onto the bumper of young Leonage.
Did you see that though, Matt, through that fast right-hander with the aero rosh going, how much push that David had sitting right in behind Rian's bumper? So that really didn't help him get in the runoff there.
No, it doesn't. And these cars do have a lot of aero wash, ladies and gentlemen, as David Nash is really putting the pressure on young Leonage now. He's making this youngster work for it. He's making him go, do you want to be in this league? Yes, you do. Show me. I am going to push you and push you to your limits.
Yeah, Rian's not going to make this easy for him at all. This is a really amazing battle. It's really exciting to see what's going to happen here. Whether David, he was my bet coming into the race, so whether he's going to play it safe or whether he's going to make that pass, but I think he's going to try and send it down the inside at some stage before we know it.
As we ride on Max Losh, as he throws it up the inside of the Dragon RC entry for another position. He is up 5 so far.
Was there contact there? Sorry, Matt, to cut you off. I thought there was a bit of contact there. Here we go. David Nash for the pass. No,
he's going to try and go around the outside again. Does he try it? Does he get the power down nice and early? Leonage out on the power, gets a good run. David Nash, though, he got a drive and a half out around the outside of Leonage, and he's up into 3rd position as they go through turn 1 into turn 2 and 3. David Nash takes 3rd position away from young Leonage.
That was brilliant car position from David Nash there. He knew what he was doing. Rian, I think, pretty much showed him what he was going to do the lap earlier, so Dave Nash outsmarted him there and positioned the car in the right spot and said, if I'm not going to get you on the inside, I'll stay on the outside for the next corner.
Now, does Leonage go with him? Does he stick to that rear bumper of Nash? And let Nash take him up to Pereira and Kai Turner up in P1 and 2 as we go to a simsnapshot.com replay for you, ladies and gentlemen. Todd Martin coming down into the hairpin. Does he outbrake himself? Yes, he does. Just catches a bit too much for your brake and into the tyre bundle he goes. Bit unfortunate for Todd Martin, our privateer for the Goodyear Autocare Warana V8-T2 E-Series. But I'm actually very impressed with the rookie of this season, Dylan Pereira. He is off to an amazing start. He hasn't been taken out so far, which is good news. Last week he got caught up in an unfortunate incident at Montreal, just coming through onto the wall of champions and just had nowhere to go. So good to see the rookie out on top here in number 2, or not on top, should I say, but out in second position for the race and getting a good showing. So does he make it run with Kai Turner? Does he just follow him? Get to learn the lines of Kai Turner. Watch out where he goes, where he doesn't go, and then puts the boot into it later on in the race. We will see. But awesome start by the rookie Dylan Pereira.
Yeah, been an amazing start, Matt. He's been doing really great. Last week wasn't the best showing for him, even though he had raw speed. But I keep going back to David Nash, but I'm just looking at my timing. He's just taken nearly a 1/10.5 off these front guys, and we're only nearly halfway through the race. So keep an eye out for him. He might be able to be a contender to push those top 2. So those top 2 don't want to race too hard too early to try and consolidate their first and second positions here. Well,
as you say, he's taken out a 1/10.5. The young Leonage is going with him. So was that a little bit of a tactical move by Leonage just to finally let him go, going, right, Nash is quicker than me. I'll just let him go. I'll stick to his rear bar and I'll let him take me to the leaders because my pace simply doesn't have it. Not only that, Leonage gets to save a little bit of fuel behind Nash getting into that slipstream. So depending on the fuel restrictions here, if the boys are really wanting to stretch the fuel, they're going to be wanting a little bit of slipstream, Aiden.
Yeah, that's not really going to be a big issue for Rian, Matt. They're filled to the end in these sprint races, so off they go, no pit stops, so he can pretty much send it as hard as he wants. It will help him if they are running a little bit dry at the end, but I think now it's just raw pace. Raw pace, you just want to get track position, and what we're seeing is track position is key at the moment. Those top 3 or 4 runners have really driven away for the rest of the field. They've got that clean air, so then we go to the reverse grid that we're going to do with the 20 laps. So that's where the difference comes on. These guys at the front here aren't going to have that privilege in the second race. So watching that race is going to be good. But anyway, let's concentrate on the race that we have at hand. And what an amazing race so far by these drivers.
It is an amazing race. And don't forget, Aiden, we did have a rolling start. So there is a lap of fuel taken out of the cars already. So it might not have been much being behind safety car, but it is enough to maybe not see him through to the end. So just pay attention as we've got David Nash all over the back of Dylan Pereira. So obviously a little bit of an error by Pereira, a bit of a slide, a bit of a lock-up maybe. So he's dropped away from Kai Turner at the front. So he's got a little bit of work to do. Maybe you already pushed the car a little bit too hard as we're already into lap 8 of 12, guys. That is right, 8 of 12. This race is absolutely flying. A minute 13, minute 14, a lap goes by in a blink of an eye for these guys. So what's going to happen here? Does Nash put the move on, or does he sit there and get the start in front of Dylan for the reverse grid race?
I think Dave's not going to hold anything back at the moment. I think he's going to push for that second position. He's well and truly, even his last lap, 2.5, nearly 3/10 ahead of Kai Turner in regards to lap pace. So I think if he gets his car in the right position, he's going to make that move to get second place, because obviously, as we discussed earlier in the broadcast, it's overall points for the round. So he's got the pace. I think he's going to make the move when he gets a chance.
Well, second fastest out on track is the youngster behind him, young Leonage with a 1:14.15. So, but in saying that, Kai Turner just says, sorry guys, I know you guys are quicker than me, but I am quicker. He just did a 1:14.25 that lap. So Kai Turner really answering to these guys who are trying to catch up behind him. He is really going, I can put my foot into it. My tyres are better.
Yeah, and we just hear through the mic there that young Pereira just did a 1:13.8.
Oh, it's David Nash
Oh, no.
the rookie Pereira into the wall. Oh, we'll get a simsnap.com replay of that one, Aiden. That is unfortunate for the rookie.
Very unfortunate. That's 2 weeks in a row for the young guy, so very unfortunate for him.
Or did he just grab a little bit too much rear brake? We're not sure yet, because there's a little bit of a gap there to Nash behind him. Yeah, nah.
Yeah, David
Reels
Nash
him.
there just underestimated the room he had on the outside and didn't line the car up perfectly under braking. So that's really, really unfortunate for both of them.
Well, Pereira hasn't dropped down too many positions. He's only dropped 5, and the good news is there is no damage to the front of that car. So if he can get back out on track and up to speed again, he could possibly take a couple positions back from Stevens and Hockey if he is quicker than him. There's a little bit of a gap to him, but he's just got to compose himself and get back into the groove of things. But unlucky.
Yeah, and don't underestimate there that David Nash might get a penalty for that, so he might be sitting second at the moment. So I don't think he'll sit there, to be honest. The race control will have something to say about that, I'd suggest.
Evening, gents.
Oh, as we've got race control jumping into the broadcast as we speak. Who have we got in the broadcast? Mr. Steve Vella, how are you, mate?
Good, mate. How are you?
Good. Thank you. What can we do for you, mate? Obviously, you're up from race control, I believe.
Yeah, I just Anton shot me in. I just thought I'd just jump in and say g'day, and I'm just watching two of my boys run through, Trent and Shane.
Yep. Now, obviously, there was an incident with David Nash and Dylan Pereira just then. Do you have any news on that for us as we go on to lap 11 of 12, ladies and gentlemen?
I'm not here for race control.
Oh,
I'm not making any rulings. Nah, Anton just threw me in. I thought I'd just come in and say g'day and have a bit of a commentary with you guys.
Oh, nah, excellent. Thank
All right,
you, mate.
Steve. Good to have you.
Good to have you, mate. So we're just going on to lap 11 of 12 here, guys. We'll just quickly do an introduction. Steve Vella, a fellow racer in the Nationwide Tracking System Super Series, races for the Melbourne Hydrographics Depot team, also the team owner. So it's good to have him on board for a few minutes as we just get through the last couple laps for you guys around the famous Sonoma Raceway. Steve, how was your race last night, mate? And how'd you find the reverse grid?
Yeah, oh look, I think I did okay. I think 25th in the first race and I think 15th in the second. Interesting track. I haven't done this track before. So yeah, it's quite stressful with all the cars coming up on you in the reverse grid, but all the guys are really good. Gave them plenty of room if they were a lot quicker than me. So yeah, I enjoyed the track once I got used to it, but yeah, it was pretty exciting.
Steve, great job last night, but I don't mean to cut you off. We're just on board here with Kai Turner. What an amazing drive by this young man. He's been flawless all night. We're now on the last lap of the race. We just concentrate on him to watch him bring this car home and let him celebrate his victory.
Yeah, Kai Turner with a flawless rate from start to finish, lights to checkers. He has driven an amazing race out front at the moment with nearly a 5-second lead over David Nash. Maintain those tyres. Yeah, very big lead. So, obviously maintain those tyres well enough. He's posted one of the fastest laps of the race with a 1:13.94, but he's even with David Nash. So as he comes out in the hairpin to come around for the last time in race 1 for the Simshed Broadcasting Sonoma SuperSprint, up through the gears, around to the left and across the start finish line. There you are, ladies and gentlemen, your race winner for race 1, Kai Turner. Second position, Dave Nash. Third position, Rehan Leonage. We will see those guys ever so shortly in the commentary booth as they complete their cool-down lap to have a quick interview with them as we have a, I believe, 15-minute break between races.
Yeah, Matt.
So we'll have a bit of time just to chat with them and see how their race went before we go on to our feature race, ladies and gentlemen, for the 20-lapper around Sonoma. So that one's going to be the interesting. And to throw a big mix into it, we are making it a reverse grid. So, Aiden, what were your thoughts, mate?
Amazing race, Matt. You mentioned the results there, but I will make mention that they're unofficial results. I still think something might be done post-race about the incident with David Nash there. So we're not sure whether he's going to actually finish on the podium. We'll see. We haven't heard anything from race control, so he may be up in second. But really looking forward to this reverse grid. It's going to be interesting racing.
There we go, guys. Unofficial results up on screen. Kai Turner with a 5-second win over David Nash. There might be a little bit of a post-race penalty coming into that one. And young Leonhardt takes out third position ahead of Matty Scholes in fourth. Daryl Hockey in fifth. Dan Stevens in sixth. Dylan Pereira in seventh. Dean Alessi in eighth. Shane Clark in ninth. And rounding out your top 10 is Damien Cairns as we get young Leonage jumping up into the booth with us at the moment. We'll just wait for the other drivers to join us. So hang tight there, Rehan, as we've also got Rainer Costello from the NTS, or should I say the Nationwide Track and System Super Series, to have a bit of a chat with us later on. So Rainer, hold tight there, mate. We'll get to you. And a big thank you to Steve Vella for quickly jumping in and giving us a quick insight to his race last night with the big guns. Mate, stick around in the green room, hang around. We might drag you back in for the 20-lapper just to have a bit more of a chat. So stick there, mate. Aiden will...
Cheers, guys.
That's all right, mate. Anytime. We'll just wait for the boys to get up into the lobby here at the moment.
I think they're probably just sorting out a few results at the moment before they hop in. We can see Rian in the green room waiting for us to have a chat to him, but they might just be sorting out a few post-race penalties, so we do apologise. We'll bring them up when they're made available.
Yes, definitely. But for the meantime, guys, that was an amazing race one. Obviously, a little bit of an insight to what race two, our feature race, is going to be like. It is going to be action-packed, full-on. And remember, we've got the fast guys starting from the back. So that's going to throw a mix into everything.
It's be interesting.
It's definitely going to be interesting. Yeah, so we'll get while we're waiting for these boys to jump up into the green room and sort out these the results for the race. We'll just go to the unofficial results for the points. Kai Turner takes out the win. He gets his 80 points for the round. David Nash with 74, Rehan Leonage with 73, Matty Scholes with 72, Daryl Hockey with 71, Dan Stevens 70 points. The rookie Dylan Pereira with an unfortunate incident with David Nash about mid-race, down in 7th position with 69 points. Dean Alessi with 68, Shane Clark with 67, and Damien Cairns with 66 points, rounding out your top 10. We got Tony Gaffer, Nicky G on 64 points, Steve Martin, Sam Noble, Dean Reddit, Danny Vassell, Trent McCarthy, Kyle Booth, Max Losh, and Colin Bruns, rounding out your top 20 there, ladies and gentlemen. We'll scroll on to the next page. We got Jonathan Bain, Stephen Black, Paul Gerlin, Dylan Lagarde, Robbie Bradbury, Mitch Campbell, Andrew Johnson, Peter Kelly, Liam James, the mover from the NTS to the GAC, down there with 47 points. Aaron Hayden on 46 points, rounding out your top 30. And on to the final 3-place sitters for the race. That is if they finished. I believe everyone finished on the lead lap as well. So that is another good sign by the looks of it, Aiden.
Yeah, really, really good race. And looks like we've got Kai Turner sitting there in the green room with young Rehan at the moment. So we'll bring those guys up for a bit of a chat.
And David Nash is there also. All right, let's get these post-race interviews underway, Aiden. We'll start with our race winner, the flawless race, the light to checkered flag driver, Kai Turner. Mate, astounding race. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, mate. That was, felt pretty good race. It was a bit different starting with a roll start, but hey, I'll take a win.
Hey, now that's something to talk about. And it's going to be spoken about with Dave and Rehan as well. You mate. The roll start a bit different to what we used to. We're used to a standing start here in the commentary booth, and also as races. What was your thought process? Did you decide to do a Reina Costello and get the jump nice and early as the safety car pulled off into the pit lane and just go for it, or were you trying to back that field up and just give them a bit of surprise on the mid apex?
Yeah, I was hoping second place was far enough behind me where I could dive to the inside and just go from there. But yeah, he was far enough back, so I just dived it in and just nice and easy out, and it worked out well.
Good stuff, mate. Aiden, I'll let you ask a couple questions, mate.
Yeah, Kai, amazing drive, mate. Again, we're getting used to seeing you up here in the commentary booth having a bit of a chat after the race, so stellar job again. Anything you did different? Were you one with the car? Do you think this track suited you? Because it looked like in that race you were just a class above. Is there anything that you liked about this track that suited you?
Yeah, it's just a flowy track, and you got to be really good on the throttle control out of the corners. So yeah, it just clicked for me, and a lot of practice with the boys tonight. So the tyres felt really good the whole stint. So I was doing low 14s, I think, towards the end. So tyres weren't really an issue unless you were pushing really hard, but car felt pretty consistent the whole run.
Mate, you had an absolutely flawless race. Congratulations. Hang around, mate. We'll come back to you onto our second place sitter for the race, David Nash. Mate, little bit of a push and shove going on there with the rookie Dylan Pereira. Just sort of describe to us what happened there, mate.
Look, I just went back and looked at the replay. Firstly, I want to put my hand up and apologise to Dylan for that. He braked a little bit earlier than I thought. I moved to the right and just clipped his back quarter, so that's totally my fault. I thought I had the run there. Obviously, I didn't, so I'd definitely put my hand up to say that was my fault there.
Nah, either way, mate, it's good for you to put your hand up and be the one to admit at fault. But nevertheless, you still had a good race. You had made an amazing move around the outside of young Leonage there in the hairpin to come down the main straight and take away third position before getting promoted into second there. Mate, how was your race?
We keep going on about how hard it is to pass Rehan, but it is very hard. He puts it in the right spot. I tried to go on the outside once, and then I kind of knew I had to brake later so I could possibly make that first turn on the inside and hopefully let him give up that position. So that's what I was aiming for.
I didn't got anything to throw at Mr. Nash.
No, Mr. Nash, as we're now going to call you, I just need to say congratulations, great race. We do have a sneaky, unofficial bet on who we think going to win the race, and I must say I had you, so you did an amazing job through that. There was no post-race penalties for that incident? Okay. I just heard something in my ear. Sorry about that, David. But yeah, great race, mate. I was backing you. You had really good racecraft there and good race pace. It was really good to watch.
Yeah, thanks, Aiden.
David, stick around, mate. We'll get back to you shortly. On to the youngster, Rehan Leonage, mate. Been a couple rounds since we've had you up into the booth, so awesome race there, mate. Bought off David Nash for a couple laps there, put the car in the right position every single time he showed you a nose. So congratulations on the third place, mate. How's your race?
Yeah, it was good. It was really tough, as I expected. Yeah, and I put extra practice in this week because I knew that it was a tough track and a lot of people would struggle. So I would capitalize on that. Yeah,
mate, you capitalised all right and you showed your pace. To have you back up on the top there is amazing to see. Now, obviously, we're looking into the next race here, ladies and gentlemen. We're looking at a reverse grid. So, Rehan, we'll start with you, mate. Are you looking forward to the reverse grid? Have you done much practice in a private session with Dad at home or anything with reverse grid racing?
no.
So it's a new one to you, mate. Are you looking forward to it at least?
Yeah, kind of, because it's really gonna show who's going way too aggressive and who's just being nice and patient, waiting.
Mate, couldn't have said that better myself. Dave, obviously, we don't know what's going to be happening post-race. We don't know where you'll be starting, whether you'll be starting second last or a bit up the grid there. But obviously, reverse grid racing, you looking forward to it?
Yeah, looking forward to the mayhem.
Well, won't be too much mayhem, mate, because I believe if we've already had one rolling start, there is going to be a second rolling start if iRacing servers play their way. So
That's right. I'll just tuck him behind Kai there and just follow him around.
yeah,
all
well,
good.
there we go. So, and another thing, guys, is everyone got through the first lap clean as a whistle. There was no incidents whatsoever, no one off the track. So, awesome driving by all. Kai, obviously, you're starting dead last this race, the very, very back of the field. Obviously, reverse grid racing, is it something that you like, something you've never done before?
I've done it before. It's a challenge, but at this stage, I'd rather start from the front. But
Don't we all?
We'll just see how it goes. You know, I'm just going to try and be smart about it for once and see where that gets me.
Beautiful, mate. Aiden, before we allow Kai, Dave, and Rehan just to thank some of their sponsors and get out and just have a little bit of a warm-up before the reverse grid of race 2, the 20-lapper, anything you want to fire away at them?
No, just you've hit the nail on the head, Matt. Just congratulations to all the place getters. Young Rian, really good to watch you there, buddy. You had the elbows up, trying not to let Dave, or Nashy as I call him, through. So really, really good drive. I'm looking forward to this reverse grid. I've almost put my belts on in my sim rig. I'm that excited just to watch it.
Well, guys, before we get on to what is going on for the rest of the week with SimShed Broadcasting, we will get to the drivers to quickly say a quick thank you to their sponsors. Our race winner, Kai Turner of Middle Finger Racing.
Thanks to WD Concreting, Snap-on Tools, Liquid Moly, Auto Kings, Aussie Sign Designs, Birch Car Art, and yeah, cheers.
Awesome, mate. Godspeed for the next race, and good luck. Dave, any sponsors you'd like to thank, mate?
Just Bruce again from Megan Turbo, the right sim boys, awesome bunch of group guys there. Also want to thank the wife. Had a newborn 2 weeks ago. She's allowed me to come down here and do this, so it's pretty good.
Big congratulations are in order, Dave. So congratulations, mate, and all the best on the next race. Rehan, obviously, any sponsors you would like to thank, mate?
I'd like to thank VR Covers, Cars for Hope, Racing with Autism Australia, Blue Stampede, Labour Hire, SimShed Broadcasting, Nationwide Tracking Systems, Goodyear, Autocare, Warana, Dragon RC, DSL Welding Services, and Abruzzi Australia.
Well done, mate, and well said. Well, guys, congratulations on your P1, 2, and 3. All the best in the next race for the reverse grid for the SimShed Broadcasting Sonoma SuperSprint, the 20-lapper. Now, guys, obviously, Tuesday nights, we have the Nationwide Tracking Systems V8 Super Series, which ran last night, which was started at 8:30 Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Fired up by the boys from the Goodyear Autocare Warana V8-T2 E-Series on Wednesday nights. That's right, that's tonight. We started tonight at 8:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. But we take you tomorrow, Thursday night, to the Abruzzi Cup from 8 o'clock Australian Eastern Daylight Times. That's 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Times. And then Friday, a little bit of Freaky Friday, a little bit of two-up racing, the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club, Friday night two-up, starting from 7:45 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. So, action-packed for your Tuesday, Wednesday, your Thursday, and your Friday from SimShed Broadcasting. So, guys, make sure to tune in on those nights from those times to check out all the racing action, as we have a superstar, I should call him. The man with speed, the guy who drives around tracks on rails from E1 Sim Sports. Rainer Costello, mate, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. It was a pretty hectic race last night in our split one, but we made it through. I'm not sure about you, Matt. You had a bit of the rough end of the stick last night, but it'll be great to watch these guys go around tonight.
Yeah, rough end of the stick is definitely the words for it, mate. Let's just make it as a night to forget. But, mate, you had an absolutely stunner of a race 2, I should say, in the reverse grid. A little bit of unfortunate fell your way. A little bit of few too many incident points, I should say. I believe JP was telling me earlier it was about 21 or 22 incident points that you racked up, or 22. Yeah, so there we go. You racked up a fair few anyway. The limit was 16, I believe, for race 2. So you went a few incident points over, copped the drive through, put you right down the field, but little bit of luck ran your way, mate. You got an absolutely stellar run.
Yeah, it was a bit odd because usually some door rubbings about 2x incident points, but I got a few 4x's for that, which was unfortunate. Probably could have been a little more patient on my part, but sort of my mentality is if there's a gap, go for it. So yeah, probably a bit of patience would have been good, but yeah, a few too many incident points, and that cost us in the end.
Yep, that's it, mate. As Barney, our flagman, gives us the checkered flag for the warm-up session as we have a look down the drag strip at Sonoma Raceway. Wouldn't that be amazing to send a V8 supercar down? Maybe we can do it in a session sometime next season if we come back to Sonoma. As we ride on board for the rolling start for race 2, the Sim Shed Broadcasting Sonoma SuperSprint, the 20-lapper. Barney waiting up there patiently in the stand, waiting to wave that green flag for the boys. We'll take you through our starting grid. We have Luke Georgeson and Aaron Racken. We'll go Luke Georgeson on row 1. Sorry, there's a little bit of confusion there on the grid standings. We've got Aaron Raccanello and Craig Gurry rounding out our second row there. We've got Aaron Hayden and Liam James starting on the third row. We've got Peter Kelly, Andrew Johnson on the fourth row. Mitch Campbell from 9-5 Sim Sports, bit of an unlucky race for him. And Robbie Bradbury rounding out our fifth row there. And Dylan Lagarde and Paul Gerlin rounding out our sixth row on the grid. Aiden?
Yeah, and in the seventh row, we've got Stephen Black out of 13 and Jonathan Bain out of 14. Eighth row is Colin Bruns and Max Losh. Ninth row is Kyle Booth and Trent McCarthy. Out of the 10th row is Danny Vassell and Dean Reddit. In the 11th row is Sam Noble and Stephen Martin. And out of 23rd is Nicky G and Tony Gaffer out of 24.
Right, moving on to row 13. We've got Damien Cairns and Shane Clark. Dean Alessi and Dylan Pereira out of row 14. Dan Stevens, Daryl Hockey out of 15. Matty Scholes and the young Leonard, she finished up third out of 16th row. And David Nash with our race winner, Kai Turner, out of the, I just forgot my rows, but out of 34th position there. I just had a mental blank. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a long day at work and a long day in the office as we are underway for the rolling start for the race to the 20-lapper for the Sonoma SuperSprint, brought to you by Sim Shed Broadcasting for the Goodyear Autocare Warana V8-T2 E-Series. Now, I know, Raina, you got a bit of a jump start here, so we'll see if the boys were watching closely to the stream last night or even to the start of the race here. Let's see if they pull a little bit of a Rainer Costello, as I'm going to call it right now, because, mate, you absolutely blitzed that field by a good couple seconds, and one of the best race starts I have actually personally ever seen under a rolling start. As we come to the safety car, pulling off into the pit lane, we have Luke Georgeson out in front, taking the field into the hairpin for the first time for the 20-lapper Sonoma SuperSprint. Aaron Raccanello around the outside. Luke Georgeson still holding the field up. This is tactical. As he steps on the loud pedal, we are underway for race 2, the 20-lapper, and boy did Luke Georgeson get a flying start. He has already gapped the field by half a second. Aaron Raccanello out by 1.5 seconds nearly. Over third place, Aaron Hayden.
Under the bridge.
As I see a bit of an incident under the bridge in the back there. We'll get back to that for you guys later on. As we've got Luke Georgeson up through the blinding exit of turn 6, down the hill they come. Looks like a clean start for the front runners so far. We've got Luke Georgeson, Aaron Raccanello, Aaron Hayden, Craig Gurry, Liam James rounding out your top 5. But Luke Georgeson and Aaron Racanello, the talking point of the race, Aiden, they have absolutely blitzed the field by nearly by 2 seconds.
Back, spun.
Yeah, they have, Matt. They've made an absolutely blinding start. We spoke in the 12-lapper. It's about track position. Those guys at the back, we're going to see what they can do moving forward and whether they can make their way through the field. But those front 3 guys have really had a jump. They've had a really good start.
As we go to a simsnap.com replay for you guys, Dean read it on screen. We'll see what's happened here as it's a little bit of click and clack, and around they all go. A little bit of carnage. Oh no! And one of the Melbourne Hydrographics depot cars gets collected in that too and loses the front end. So a little bit of carnage down in the mid pack there. 2 Melbourne Hydrographics depot cars get caught up in that. Sorry, so little bit of carnage going on there on the first lap there, Aiden.
Yeah, definitely was, but that was to be expected with the reverse grid. So we didn't see that much in the first race. We've seen it now early in this one. We'll see what eventuates moving forward into the rest of the race.
Yeah, nah, that's it. Obviously, Steve will bring you into this point in time. Obviously, the race start, you obviously started from the pointy end of the field in race 1. How did you find the race start, mate?
I had a pretty clean start, but the back runners, they come up pretty quick. But I held a bit of ground. There was a bit of carnage here and there. So I was able to keep my position up near the front. A couple of guys dropped out halfway through the race. A couple of drive-throughs, obviously incident points. I did see you at one stage sitting pushed up against the bridge.
Yeah.
And then I think you got slammed from behind. Got pushed into the wall a bit further. But yeah, incident points are a killer at this track.
Yeah, no, they sure are. There is very little room to drop tyres off the edge of the track as we're on screen now with the young Leonage, who is currently sitting down in as the Luke George, as everything decides to have an absolute fit on our screens. We have got drivers going all over the place. So we've got a drive-through penalty, car contact, car 9 on car 110. So race control going to have a little bit of a busy one. They had a bit of a quiet one in the first race, Aiden. There wasn't too much going on.
No, it definitely was. As I mentioned earlier in the coverage of this race, we had a bit of an incident earlier, but we didn't really have much in that first race. But with the reverse grid, it's always going to create a little bit of that. And I'm looking now, though. We've got an amazing drive by Damien Cairns. He has gone up 13 positions from the start.
And not only that, Dan Stevens from Middle Finger Racing up 15, not far behind him. Make that up 16 as Damien Cairns makes another position. So there is big movers all over the field. Kai Turner already up 14 positions from starting dead last in the field. He is currently sitting 20th position, and it is only lap 4 of 20, ladies and gentlemen. So it is going to be on for young and old. Kai Turner is really making a move. As we ride on board with him, as he's following, by the looks of it, the Simshed Broadcasting entry of Dylan Pereira. And there might be an incident with Rehan. The simsnap.com replay for you guys at home. Rehan Leonage up on the inside, coming into the hairpin. And what do we say? Oh no, not up far enough on the inside to make it stick. And he's done the right thing to slow down a little bit to try and redress. Won't be able to see the rest of that, but he is currently sitting down in what my timing table says 24th position. So Kai Turner now up into 17th position. He is not much messing around, Aiden.
Yeah, and it looks like they've just got a drive-through for car contact between car 66 and car number 11. So it's unfortunate for those guys.
Yeah, and obviously I'm going to call it Kai Turner's doing a Rainer Costello. There is going to be as we get a car going off into the tyre barriers, into the hairpin. Sam Noble made the mistake coming into the hairpin. Was there car contact into that, or did he simply just lock the rears and put himself into it? The simsnap.com replay for you guys at home. We will check it out right here. Just a little bit crossed up. Too heavy on the brakes and into the tyre barrier. Sam Noble goes. unfortunate for the 9-5 Sears Sport driver. Now, back to what I was saying, using a few Reina Costello terms here, because obviously he had the drive of the night. He made up the most positions last night, not only once, but twice in a single race. He obviously gets the race jump on the field and gaps him by 2 seconds. Reina, obviously one of the trickier tracks that the boys are visiting, not only for the nationwide tracking systems Super Series, but for the Goodyear Autocare Warana V8-T2 E Series. What are your thoughts on Sonoma, mate? I know you were blistering quick in your practice sessions and your qualifying, but give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm a real fan of Sonoma. It's a nice flowing track. One of the struggles here is to dial out some of the understeer, but the car felt on rails last night in qualifying. We got the pole, but yeah, one of the main things to watch out for here on the start is that little kink coming onto the front straight. It can catch out a lot of people who are side by side, and then especially turn one through that chicane. It's prone to causing a lot of incidents, and I'd say the strategy for some of the faster guys that are caught up in the pack will be to capitalize on some of the switchback corners to make up positions, and that'll really help them.
As we've got Dean Alessi go around the inside of Andrew Johnson, and then Jonathan Bain, he has a look. Andrew Johnson just pulls wide for him and says, you go on by, buddy. As Dylan Pereira off on the outside of, no, Paul Gerlin, sorry. Looked like Dylan Pereira, it was Paul Gerlin, my apologies. Paul Gerlin off on the outside of the track there. I wonder what happened to him. Might be a little bit of an outbreaking situation. But back to the race, obviously we'll bring Steve into this part as well. Reina, tyres for you guys as we go to a simsnap.com replay of Paul Gerlin here quickly. He's coming down hard on the brakes and just catches a bit of rear. Nah, too much curb and just puts the car around. Lucky enough to keep it out of the wall. Now obviously Reina and Steve, tyres were a big thing in race 2. Obviously we'll start with you, Steve. We'll finish up with Reina on that one. Steve, how did you find the tyres through race 2?
Look, I reckon 3/4 of the way they really started to go, but I tried to stay as best I could. With the low gearing of the car, they wanted to arc up the rears quite a bit coming out of some of the corners. The front really were washing out towards the end, so you had to sort of slow down a little bit more into the corners. But yeah, I think 3/4 of the way through they were really starting to go off.
Reina, what were your thoughts on tyre life, Rennie? I know I was spotting you back towards the end of the race after I had an unfortunate incident, but and you started to say it was starting to understeer quite a lot as Dylan Lagarde shows a little bit of yellow paint at the back of the Dragon RC Esports entry of Aaron Hayden. Reina, how did you find tyres, Randy, mate? Because I know you were saying it did start to understeer really late on in the race.
Yeah, I actually found the tyres to last quite well. There was a little bit of understeer, but around here I actually did my fastest lap of race 2 on lap 20, so the tyres fared pretty well, but yeah, a little bit of understeer creeping in from some of those high speed corners, but yeah.
Mate, that's actually quite funny. Lap 20 and your tyres are almost shot and you do the fastest lap of the race. So that just goes to show, ladies and gentlemen, the youngster Reina Costello, he's only 16 years of age. Yes, he races karts in real life, but you got to remember, he can feel everything that happens within that vehicle underneath him when you're in the sim. All you have are the pedals and the steering wheel, and there is no feedback apart from a little bit of vibration. So you don't know what's going on. To post your fastest lap on lap 20 is absolutely unreal. As we go on screen with Rehan Leonard.
Dean Reddit's off.
Dean Reddit, simsnap.com replay. Aiden, a little bit full on in the commentary booth tonight, mate, as Dean goes around into the wall. Fair few incidents at the moment. A lot of guys making mistakes.
Yeah, I'm just letting you have a chat with the other boys, mate, and sitting here quiet. So
I'll let you catch your breath a bit, eh?
no, all good. Just listening, mate. But it has not failed to disappoint as we thought coming into this reverse grid. So it's been amazing to watch. It's been good to sit back and listen to you guys talk and just watch the race.
Oh, mate, it is absolutely action-packed at the moment, as we've got David Nash currently in 16th position. By the looks of it, he is behind the 9.5 SimSport entry of Sam Noble. The missing bonnet on the front of that one. Runs a little bit wide and makes the move stick. David Nash up 18 positions. But if I keep going, Aiden, the race winner, Kai Turner, is up 26 positions. It's lap 9 of 20. He's up 26 positions in 8th position. I think I might go crack a Strepsil quickly, and I think we might do a crank up the volume and jump on board with Kai Turner and go for a bit of a hot lap around Sonoma for the SimShed Broadcasting Sonoma Super Sprint Series for the 20 lapper around here. What do you say?
Let's do it. Let's watch a man that's in the zone.
Righto, guys, turn up the volume. Listen to this as Kai Turner takes you for a lap around Sonoma Raceway as he just takes 7th position away from Colin Rudd. Crank it up, guys, and have a listen. Guys, how was that? A hot lap around Sonoma Raceway with our race winner of race 1, Kai Turner from Middle Finger Racing. He's currently up in 7th position, putting pressure on one Peter Kelly. As Peter goes off onto the grass, Kai Turner has a looks up on the inside, throws it down under brakes, coasts it through, and gets another move done. Kai Turner is now up into 6th position behind Daryl Hockey. He is up 28 positions this race so far. He has had an absolute stellar drive. He has driven absolutely flawlessly throughout this whole entire race, and I don't even think he's put a foot wrong. Obviously, Steve Rayner, this is the sort of driving that you want to be seeing in the up-and-coming developer series.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's driving brilliantly at the moment. Winning race 1, absolutely flawless, and race 2 he's making up a bunch of positions, and he's really just putting in a master's effort. We saw him up the front in Split 1 last season. I really think he should be in Split 1 this year by the quality of driving, but yeah, he's driving flawlessly at the moment.
Well, let's hope if he obviously keeps going with the good results, we might be seeing him up with the Nationwide Tracking System Super Series boys who run on Tuesday night from 8:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Times. Banging panels with us boys, Steve Vella, Raina Costello, and myself up in the fast split there as we ride on board with Mitch Campbell through one of the fastest sections of the track, but also the trickiest sections. The car loves to slide around here, even though you're flat foot to the floor, and still wants to understeer. It still wants to oversteer as you come down flying into the chicane and to try and pull it up on the brakes. As we have a drive-through penalty for car contact, car 97 on car 058. So race control is absolutely chock-a-block tonight in that booth down there, and they have got a lot of incidences to look at, especially one from race 1 with David Nash and with the incident with Dylan Pereira. So they are absolutely chock-a-block. So hats off to those guys. They do an absolute stellar job. They get absolutely hounded with comms from drivers reporting incidences. So very big hats off to them. as we go on to lap 13 here of 20 for race 2. And Kai Turner still sitting down in 6th position. We've got Luke Georgeson out on front. Hasn't made a move, step foot wrong. Mitch Campbell, though, putting the pressure on him. He is up 7 positions into 2nd. Dylan Lagarde from E1 Sim Racing. He's had an absolute stellar drive also. He's up 8 positions as we've got Sam Noble and a Melbourne Hydrographics Depot entry going at it. Race of the no bonnets as Sam Noble has a bit of a squirm coming out of the corner. No aero on those cars whatsoever, and they are still throwing it around there like they have full aeros. As we've got Aaron Raccanello down in 4th position, Daryl Hockey in 5th, Kai Turner in 6th, Matty Scholes up 24 positions in 7th, another big mover, Dan Stevens in 8th, Dean Alessi in 9th, and Peter Kelly in 10th. And we take it to a simsnap.com replay of Andrew Johnston coming down into the hairpin and just runs a little bit wide, very wide, and puts himself into the tyre barrier. Oh no, that is absolutely unfortunate. Grab reverse, buddy, and get on with it again. A little bit of an unfortunate race tonight for not only your teammate, mate, Rainer, but my teammate also.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a tough one. Dylan Lagarde didn't have the best one in the first race for E1 Sim Racing, but he's really bringing it home here in the second race, position 3 at the moment. Also cheering on Stephen Black, and yeah, Andrew Johnston definitely hasn't had the most luck tonight.
It's funny, as we get a drive-through penalty for car contact, 61 on car 411 on lap 4. So there you go, guys. That is how busy race control is tonight. It is lap 14 of 20. We've only got 6 laps to go as we come across the start-finish line here. And they are only releasing incidents from lap 4, Aiden.
And Matt, we just see Mitch Campbell's just jumped up into the lead.
Mitch Campbell has jumped up into the lead, and Luke Georgeson is dropped down into 2nd. So we get a simsnap.com replay of what happened here. Luke Georgeson into the small hairpin and just runs a little bit too wide. Just hands Mitch Campbell that position, but it wasn't over. They battled hard, side-by-side drag race, and he knew when he was beat. You can't run too wide there, as one of the boys from E1 Sim Racing, Dean Powell, found out last night. You cannot run too wide through there. You simply just go off into the marbles and out onto the dirt. So good, smart move by Luke Georgeson. Tuck in behind Mitch Campbell and try and go with him. But by the looks of it, Mitch Campbell has absolutely checked out from Luke Georgeson. Kai Turner, no moves by him. Same with Daryl Hockey. As actually I say that, Kai Turner gets a move done on Daryl Hockey. So Kai Turner up into 5th position now with the drive of the night, 29 positions. As we get the simsnap.com replay here, obviously on his teammate. And I believe that was team orders by the looks of it, Aiden.
Yeah, it looks like it was. It was a nice, easy pass. He made it easy for him. So it's been a drive of the night. 29 positions up into 4th is sensational driving by Kai, especially around a track where it's really hard to pass. So he's done amazing. Does he have anything for these guys at the end, though? Is he too far behind? He's about 16, 15 seconds behind now. I don't think there's enough laps for him to challenge for the podium, but either way, this is going really good for him to be able to get the round win.
Yeah, nah, there is definitely not enough time. He is currently the 2nd fastest car out on track. But in saying that, Dylan Lagarde, our 3rd place sitter, with a 1:14.72 last time around. So he is on the move and only a second away from Luke Georgeson. So he's only about 1.5 seconds away from Mitch Campbell. So he's right up in the fight. Mitch Campbell did step away a little bit, but obviously tyres are starting to go on him. Luke Georgeson starting to wind it back in. But Dylan Lagarde from E1 Sim Racing have not seen much of the youngster. He is up at the pointy end of the field in this reverse grid as we get a car drive-through penalty for car contact, car 99 on car 621, lap 8. So there we go. Race control still handing out penalties. And it's lap 17 of 20, ladies and gentlemen. So it is absolutely action-packed around here for the Goodyear Autocare Warana V8-T2 E-Series for the SimShed Broadcasting Sonoma Super Sprint round.
Yeah, and with 4 laps to go, and we're on board with Luke Georgeson now, let's not take anything away from Mitch Campbell, the 9.5 SimSport pilot. He's up 8 positions on his starting position. So as we just see Luke then getting a little bit of rear brake. So he's had an amazing drive, Mitch, and Luke's done really well as well. Dylan up 8 spots. So these guys have done really well to progress through the field because they weren't right at the front. So amazing drive from these guys.
Yeah, and the youngster Dylan, he, as I said, there hasn't been much of him. He's had a few unlucky races, crashed out a couple times with a lot of panel damage. But he's real as he goes into the pits. Fuel, is it, or was it a drive-through penalty? Because I do remember seeing a drive-through penalty for someone. And I might have been car 99.
It was car 99, Matt. It definitely was. So he's serving a penalty.
There we go. So unfortunate for the youngster. So that will prop Kai Turner into 4th position. But Kai Turner is 11 seconds behind Aaron Raccanello for the 3rd position as we ride on board with Aaron right now on screen. So not enough laps in the race to get it done for Kai Turner, but he is securing a spot for the round win, the outright points win for the Super Sprint round. So watch out, ladies and gentlemen. He will be jumping up into the commentary booth later on. I am already calling it. He is going to be the points winner for this round, as Mitch Campbell is just now sailing away into the distance from Luke Georgeson. Out in 1st position as Nicky G on screen now for the Goodyear Autocare Warana Esports entry. Few little battle packs still forming around the track here, Aiden. It's lap 18 of 20. Obviously, they're not done racing.
Definitely not, Matt. Definitely not. They're going to race all the way to the end. We're seeing a lot of battle-scarred cars at the moment, so she's been a bit elbows up as we've been getting through the race, and you even see young Mitch at the front. He's got a few battle scars on his as well, so they're doing really well. The cars wouldn't be feeling amazing right now, but still, again, as this series always gives us, it's been amazing racing and great to watch. As we see Nicky G there, and we're back on board with Mitch Campbell, but it looked like Nicky G there was sizing up for a move.
He was sizing up for a move. But as we come on to lap 19 of 20 here, guys, just want to say a big thank you. Haven't heard much from them tonight, unfortunately, but Rainer Costello and Steve Black from the Nationwide Tracking Systems Super Series were kind enough to join us for a few laps, or should I say the race 2. Oh, sorry, Steve Vella, my bad. Sorry, Steve.
I know where you live.
Yeah, I know you do. That's the sad thing. That's because of being mates outside of sim racing, isn't it? Look, boys, thank you so much for joining us in the commentary booth tonight. It's been an absolutely action-packed race. It's good to get an insight from the fast gunners in the Nationwide Tracking System Super Series. So thank you very much in joining us tonight as we go across for the final lap for race 2 of the Sonoma Super Sprint. Boys, thanks for joining us. Hopefully have you back in the commentary booth again throughout the season, further on down the track. All the best for training this week, I guess. And I guess I'll see you guys out on track on Tuesday night at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Not next week, sorry. Actually, I'm not sure if you guys know or not because I just got informed we have a break.
Oh,
so that's right, guys. We are having a week off next week. So join us on the 23rd then and the 24th. So we'll come to that at the end of the session. But Rainer, Steve, thanks for joining us in the commentary booth. We'll say our goodbyes now as we watch Mitch Campbell come down into the hairpin for the final time. Boys, thanks for joining us, and we'll hope to have you back in the commentary booth soon.
Much appreciated. Good job.
Thank you for having us.
No worries, guys. Enjoy. Guys, Mitch Campbell coming across the start-finish line for your race win of race 2. Luke Georgeson flashing the lights. He is going to be stoked. So does Mitch Campbell, as we've got a simsnap.com replay quickly of Nicky G coming down across the... Oh! what a finish that was. That was a drag race to the line. That would have been a hair in it. Or was that the lap before for an overtaking move? Well, there we go. I just got informed. That was the lap before, guys. So Nicky G wound up in front of Shane Clark for the win there. But absolutely stellar drive from the man on screen, Mitch Campbell from the 9.5 SimSport team, Aiden. Absolute stellar drive, up 8 positions. Ran his own race out the front once he got past Luke and just started to pull away.
Yeah, sensational drive from Mitch. He's got a few battle scars there, so it definitely wasn't easy for him, but sensational drive. Once he got in front of Luke there, he drove away and he showed a clean set of heels. Luke was coming back on him a little bit at the end, but I think Mitch knew what he had. So, yeah, great drive by Mitch and great result for the 9.5 SimSport crew. They've done amazing. The other driver tonight had a little bit of unfortunate luck, so good to see those guys finally stand on the podium.
Mate, and you know what it means if we're on screen with the race winner. It is burnout time. Guys, turn your volume up and have a listen to Mitch Campbell do the burnout across the start-finish line of Sonoma. Bang! Into the wall he goes. Pluck reverse, mate, or just hold it in the wall and burn those Dunlop tyres up.
He's just trying to see now, mate. He's trying to show everyone that he meant that by going against the wall, see?
Guys, unofficial results are up on your screen. Mitch Campbell, our race winner, out only 0.8 of a second over Luke Georgeson. Aaron Racanello up in 3rd position there. The drive of the night, Kai Turner up 30 positions from where he started in 4th. Absolute stellar drive. And Daryl Hockey, another superb drive by him. And not to mention another superb drive by Matty Scholes down in 6th. He is up 25 positions also. Dylan Lagarde just behind Matty Scholes there due to an unfortunate drive-through penalty. He was on for a 3rd place tonight. 8th position, Dean Alessi. 9th position, David Nash. And 10th position, Max Losh. So there you go, guys. That is the unofficial results. There's your top 10 for race 2. We'll quickly breeze through the rest of them. We've got Peter Kelly, Dan Stevens, Nicky G, Shane Clark, Stephen Black, Stephen Martin, the 2 Stevens, 15th and 16th. Jonathan Bain, Rehan Leonage with an unfortunate race down in 18th there. Obviously couldn't find his way through the field. Dean Reddit down in 19th. Paul Gerland rounding out your top 20 on that one, ladies and gentlemen. Robbie Bradbury, he hasn't done a Bradbury. He's down in 21st position tonight. Colin Bruns, Trent McCarthy, Dylan Pereira. Unfortunate race for him, Aiden. Just couldn't get it done tonight. And then we start going into our laps cars. Damien Cairns, Craig Curry, Andrew Johnson, Sam Noble, Tony Gaffer, and Danny Vassell. 8 laps down there at the back. But we are getting our race winners up into the commentary booth at the moment. So bear with us, guys. We've got Luke Georgeson, we've got Aaron Racanello, and we've got Mitch Campbell in the booth ready to join us. So we'll start with our 3rd place sitter, Aaron Racanello, mate. If I recall, this is your first time joining us in the commentary booth.
Yeah, it is.
Mate, congratulations on the 3rd place. How did the reverse grid go for you?
Yeah, it went pretty smooth for us guys up the front. We got away early and sort of made a gap and held it for the rest of the race.
Mate, you obviously having a stellar race there. You had Dylan Lagarde out in front of you, and you were hunting him down, obviously due to, by the looks of it, an unfortunate drive-through penalty for him. He kind of gifted you the place there. So you obviously didn't have to drive too hard towards the end of the race and burn up those tyres.
No, yeah, once I saw him go in and then the 4th place was about 10 seconds or so behind, it was pretty crazy from there. Just look after the tyres and come home.
Mate, I bet you would have been checking those relatives. Aiden and I were sitting up here in the booth with Kai Turner breathing, or should I say not breathing, but absolutely firing through the field like a Gatling gun. And obviously hunting the top 3 down. He finished up in 4th position. Was it getting a bit scary seeing him coming up behind you?
Once he got into the 10s, and it was closing quite quickly, the adrenaline sort of kicked in a little bit, but yeah, it wasn't too bad. If he had got any closer, I think it would have been a different story.
And you got anything to fire off at Aaron before we move on to Luke Georgeson, our 2nd place sitter?
Aaron, congratulations, mate, on the podium and joining us up here for a bit of an interview. So good drive, mate.
Thank you very much.
Did you find it a little bit different? Obviously, starting in the first couple of rows and keeping yourself out of the, as I like to call it, crap early in the race. Did you find that race was a lot easier to be able to get that result and you just sat in, or was it difficult for you to be able to manage it?
No, it's definitely easier having the space to race. You can sort of just do your own thing, and that's definitely easier than trying to avoid everyone else.
Yeah, agree. But again, from me and everyone, mate, absolutely amazing drive to be on the podium. So look forward to next 2 weeks' time.
Cheers, guys.
On to our second place sitter, Luke Georgeson. He led from nearly start to finish until Mitch Campbell from 95 Sim Sports took it away for you. Luke, thanks for joining us, mate. Obviously, your first time up in the commentary booth with us. Congratulations on the second place, mate.
Cheers, guys. Cheers. Yeah, I had got on the grid for the first race and my computer switched itself off, so I sort of pulled rank and went number 1 from the race, and knew I just had to run basically. So yeah, everyone in the top 5, I thought we were pretty good. I had Aaron in Discord with me, so we were able to communicate, and then yeah, we sort of let us get away, and then yeah, Matt obviously he actually caught me by surprise there a little bit. So and then I overdrove it slightly and heated the rears up, and then sort of let them cool and tried to come back for the last couple of laps, but yeah, ran out of time. But oh, good, it was a good race.
Mate, you drove an absolute stellar race in the Nationwide Tracking Systems entry there. Aiden, you got anything to fire off at Lukey boy?
Yeah, Luke, again, as I said to Aaron, congratulations. Great drive. Good to watch. I think it was about 8 laps to go. We saw Mitch giving you a little bit of heat there, and you got a little bit of elbows up, both of you side by side. And were you willing to give that easily? And was that the time that you were trying to cool off your rear tyres and waiting for a late race, to be able to come back at him?
No, we were just sort of cruising then, sort of the lap. Yeah, I wasn't feeling too pressured or anything, but I'd seen him sort of showing his nose a few times, and yeah, I just tried to just focus on, what I was doing more than anything. But yeah, like I said, he just sort of caught me by surprise there and then got underneath, and that was all she wrote. So yeah, good drive. He did well. It was a good battle. I enjoyed it immensely.
You all did, but congratulations on a podium, and good to see you up here, mate, and on the podium to be able to have a chat with us.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much.
And on to our race winner, guys, the 95 Sim Sports driver of the 952 entry, the good-looking rig, Mitch Campbell. How are you, mate? Congratulations, and congratulations on the win.
Good, mate. Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a good race. It was kept me on my toes. I'm not sure what happened in the first race there. I locked my brakes and it sent me into the wall, so that was a bit unfortunate. But oh, here's what it is.
Now, did you have? I bet Macca was watching close by. Or did you have Chadwick in the ear tonight?
I actually didn't have anyone. It was just me and Sam talking as we drove. Sean would pop in every now and then, but the boys are busy resting from last night.
That's it, mate. How did you find the reverse grid and Sonoma as a mix? Now, there's been a few mixed reports, obviously off air and in the chat saying, it was great fun to do. Really tested the driver's skill behind the wheel. How did you find it, mate?
I actually put a fair bit of practice into it this week, just because the guys were doing a few laps earlier in the week and it's a bit technical. So I actually had to download the track and then, yeah, I just plodded away at it as much as I could. But it's actually a really fun, little technical track. I enjoy it.
It's a great track once you get it right, mate. It just flows nice and well, especially once you hit all 12 apexes around the track. It is an absolute stellar track. Aiden, got anything to fire off at our race winner before we go through the unofficial results?
Again, as I've said to the other two, amazing drive, Mitch. Congratulations on your win for 95 Sim Sports. Very unfortunate for Sammy tonight. This has been 2 races in a row that he's had a little bit of bad luck, but mate, up eight positions from your starting position in that race. A really great drive, mate.
Yeah, Sam did really well. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate your time and effort as well in race control. See you not next week, the week after.
No worries, mate. Hey, stick around because there's still obviously sponsors for you, yes, for yourself, Luke and Aaron to thank as we've got our unofficial results up on screen. Kai Turner, the drive of the night, up in first position there with 152 points. Daryl Hockey not far behind him with 142, and Matty Scholes down in third with 142. So there's a tie for second place there, ladies and gentlemen. But due to finishing positions, obviously, Daryl Hockey is out on top there in second position. So hang around. We'll get those three lads up into the booth very shortly to have a chat with myself, Aiden, Mitch, Luke, and Aaron. But we've got David Nash in fourth, Dean Alessi in fifth, Dan Stevens in sixth, the young Leonage down in seventh with 131 points. Shane Clark from Melbourne Hydrographics Depot down in eighth. Nicky G, our man, down in ninth with 127. And Mitch Campbell, mate, rounded out the top 10 there with 125 points as we have Kai Turner just joining us now. Daryl Hockey is waiting in the green room. We'll bring him up into the booth also. I guess we'll go to Kai. Mate, obviously, unofficially, you've taken out the round win with 152 points, mate. You've got to be pretty stoked with that, along with the drive of the night of 30 positions made over the race.
Yeah, mate, it wasn't easy, but like I said before, the car was just on rails tonight, and the team put hours in this afternoon trying to get the car right. So, yeah, I just tried to stay patient, and I probably only passed 3 or 4 cars, to be honest, and the rest just went off track themselves. So it just shows you got to keep it on track to be up there. But, yeah, it was great fun coming from the back, and well done to MFR and all the boys that finished in the podium.
Mate, you've obviously got the middle finger race in there on 1 and 2 with Daryl Hockey up there as well. And if I'm correct or not, Matty Scholes is your teammate as well. Am I correct? Or is he from... No, he's from Ride, I believe, I think. Now, obviously, you got Daryl Hockey up there with you for the unofficial results. Mate, obviously, you've put the pressure on throughout the race, starting from the absolute back of the grid. Obviously, had to get around Rehan Leonage. Was that an easy feat for you?
Yeah, it was. Well, it's not an easy feat most times, but I think he got caught up in a little incident, and I just went for it up the inside.
Yep. Nah, awesome stuff. Aiden, before we head over to Daryl, our second place sitter, got anything to fire off at our round winner, Kai Turner?
Oh, just a sensational drive, man. Amazing to watch. That was really, really good. We had the interview after the first race, and you didn't really know, rather, even though you'd done a couple of reverse grid races, how you were going to come out. But to do 30 spots in that race, mate, was a sensational drive. So hold your head up high. That was great.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Just a shout out to the sponsors again, Liquid Moly, WD Concreting, Aussie Signs and Dyed, and Virtual Art, and you guys again, mate. Just it's a joy to be a part of, and I look forward to next week.
Nah, thank you, mate. Stick around. There's a lot more to talk about. On to our second place sit up for the round winnings. Daryl Hockey for Middle Finger Racing as well. It's a 1-2 lockout. Yet again, just like Oran Park, except you're missing the third spot. Mate, congratulations on the second place for the round.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, hard work. The key of the night was just to be consistent. So I think I managed to do that with two fifth places.
Nah, good stuff, mate. And that's the only way to do it, is to be at the pointy end of the field and just get those points. Obviously, big talk of the night is the reverse grid start. How did you find it, mate, plucking your way up through the field?
No, I'm nervous. Always nervous at the back of the pack. I was trying to think before how long it's been since I've actually done a reverse grid race. So it's quite a while. Yeah, no, very nervous at the start there, mate. I think the rolling start, a bit of a blessing in disguise for everyone tonight. Normally there in a standing start, it's just chaos that first sector. So I think most people got through it pretty good. A little bit more carnage in the second race that I've seen coming through, which you obviously don't see from up the front. But managed to avoid all that and get through.
Well, funny enough, you say that, Dale. It's the first race we had. It was at nearly, I think it was actually nearly carnage free. There was a few little incidences, just drivers making their own mistakes. But the first lap, everyone got through rather cleanly. So that's actually a big hat to take off you. I think the reverse grace, obviously, a couple impatient drivers, and then just the back end, or the back runners, I should say, of the field starting up the front. Obviously, just the pressure got to them a little bit, and I think they just started making their own mistakes as well. So, which then collected a few other drivers. But nevertheless, mate, well done on the P2. Aiden, you got anything to fire off at our second place sitter, Daryl?
Yeah, great race weekend, Daryl, mate. That was really, really well done. It just goes to show consistency is key. You pulled off 2 top 5s there, and you've come second on points overall for the weekend. So goes to show the viewers that you don't necessarily have to win it. You just need to be consistent. So as always, another amazing drive this week. You're always up there. So looking forward to 2 weeks and seeing what you guys can pull out, as you've just pulled off a 1-2 this week.
Yeah, no, so it's good for middle finger. Yeah, it's good to have a week off and focus on what comes after that. I can't think where we are after the next week, but looking forward to it.
We're over at Watkins Glen, mate.
Watkins Glen with the bootleg, guys. So we'll bring that up shortly for everyone on screen, but we'll get to Matty Scholes for the rounding out our third place there for the round. Matty, congratulations, mate, on your finishing there.
Yeah, thanks, mate. It was fairly tough there in that second race. It was sort of really hard to avoid carnage for a little while there, for about 2 or 3 laps. It would seem to be happening all in front of me, so I sort of got stuck right up the back for the first couple of laps. So it was good to finally pick my way through and be patient.
That's the stuff. Aiden, I'll let you fire a couple questions this time, mate.
No, Matty, good job, man. You just you said you sat at the back there. You were dodging cars. Did you do that purposely? Were you sitting back there and then waiting? Because 25 spots in a 20-lap race is a really, really good job. So did you do that purposely, or is just where your car was positioned on the track and then you had lap speed?
Yeah, no, I just sort of got caught up on lap 1 there. There was a big incident with Dean and a few of the other boys, and I just got stuck at a standstill. I actually had to wait for him to move to get going, and then it sort of just worked for me. I sort of got the opportunity with no cars around to gather pace up before I hit the back of them again. So I don't know, it just worked out. It was good.
Yeah, good to see you on the podium. It was good to watch that whole race. I was saying the whole broadcast, I couldn't wait for the reverse grid. It was going to create a lot of good content for the broadcast, and it definitely didn't disappoint rather. So yeah, really good to see some different faces and some usual faces up on the podium. But to everyone, yeah, just congratulations. It was really, really good driving by everyone.
Now, bit of an awkward silence there, guys. But before we get off to the thanking of the sponsors and everything like that, we look into next week, which is a buy round for everybody. So we'll bring that up on screen for you guys in a split second as we see it starting to transition in now. We have a week off next week, guys. So a nice rest for not only the nationwide tracking system Super Series boys, but also for the Goodyear Autocare Warana V8-T2 E-Series boys. So the Tuesday and Wednesday night races go from the 23rd and the 24th of March. And we take you to the Watkins Glen with the bootleg. So we're staying in the States, going over to Watkins Glen, taking the mighty 650 horsepower V8 supercars over there, throwing them on another NASCAR track and sending them around there for what is going to be a stellar race for the Nationwide Tracking Systems, 28 laps there, and the Goodyear Autocare Warana boys are going 19 laps. So, boys, obviously it's going to be an interesting one over at Watkins Glen. Definitely a favorite for some, not a favorite for many.
Yeah, it's gonna be like this track really. For me, I'm just gonna try and be consistent as I can and see where that takes me.
Mitch, you looking forward to Watkins Glen, mate?
Yeah, pretty keen. I'll put some more practice into it in our off week and just try and stay out of trouble, I guess is the main thing. See what happens.
Good stuff, mate. All right, well, now that we have gone through all of that, guys, we'll get the championship points up on your screens, the unofficial championship points. And look at that. Kai Turner gets bumped by Matty Scholes. But look how tight it is, Aiden. It is only 1 point in it so far. Matty Scholes out on top with 693 points. Kai Turner down in second with 692. Sam Noble still fighting it out there with 685 points. Our mate Nicky G up in fourth. Dan Stevens in fifth. Daryl Hockey up in sixth position with 661 points. David Nash with 647. Dean Alessi with 641. Jonathan Bain with 636. And rounding out our top 10 is Tony Gaffer on 632 points. Now, Aiden, we'll let the boys do some sponsor thanking. Obviously, we'll start with our third place sitter for race 2 tonight, which is Aaron Racanello, mate. Any sponsors to thank on your behalf?
Yeah, just want to thank SimShed Broadcasting, Dragon RC, Nationwide Tracking Systems, Goodyear Autocare Warana, DSL Welding Services, Abruzzi Australia, VR Covers, Cars for Hope, Racing with Autism Australia, and Blue Stampede Labour Hire.
Lukey, mate, I'll hand the floor to you, mate. A few sponsors you want to thank for tonight?
Yeah, same as Aaron, NTS, Blue Stampede Labour Hire, Goodyear Autocare Warana, Brizzy Raceway. Yeah, sponsors are awesome. I'm glad we could show our pretty car off at the front tonight.
That's the way, mate. It's good to always see a Nationwide Tracking Systems car up at the front of the field. Same with the 9.5 Sim Sports car, Mitch Campbell. Mate, I'll let you have the floor for some sponsor thanks.
Thanks, mate. First of all, I'd just like to thank the team. They put a fair bit of effort into helping our driving through the week. SRT Australia, Racecraft Simulations, Cutting Edge Tracks, 80 3D Printing Services, Racing Ears Custom Ears Protection. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much, mate. I'll let you start, Mitch. I'll let you, Aaron and Luke go now. Obviously, it's getting a bit late on in the night, so I'll let you boys head off. Well done on the podium tonight, boys. And we will see you guys next week. So all the best throughout the week in practice, and all the best next week.
Cheers,
Thanks,
guys.
mate.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. See ya.
Obviously, on to our third place sitter tonight for the overall standings. Matty Scholes. Mate, sponsor thanks for you.
And as Dino put out last week, we are searching at the moment, so if anyone's keen, get in contact with someone. But I just want to thank the Riot boys, mate. Yeah, we'll just keep trying to push the cars up the front.
Mate, I'll message me after the race, because I'd love to actually whack a sponsor on the side of the Riot boys and get the word out there. So give us a message after the race, mate, and we'll have a bit of a word throughout the week and get the boys in for a bit of a chat. So, but congratulations on the overall standings tonight, mate. Awesome race. Daryl Hockey, mate. Any obviously sponsors you want to thank tonight?
Yeah, first of all, you guys for broadcasting again. Always do a top-notch job, so that's awesome. Yeah, Liquid Molly, WP Concrete, Virtual Car Art, Snap-on Tools in Blacktown. And I think that's about it.
Thank you very much, mate. Congratulations on the second place there. And on to the driver of the night. My driver of the night, obviously didn't pick him for the race win, but in my books, he's driven an absolute stellar race, Aiden. Up 30 positions, starting dead last in race 2. Took out the race win in race 1. Took out the overall for the SimShed Broadcasting Sonoma SuperSprint. Kai Turner, mate. Any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Yeah, no, first of all, just MFR, the team, the boys, we wouldn't be in this position without them. So, Liquid Molly, WD Concreting, Snap-on Tools, Blackdown, Aussie Signs and Designs, and Virtual Car Art.
Lovely, mate. Guys, congratulations on the overall standings. Looking into tomorrow night and Friday night, there is still 2 more action-packed nights for you to come up. We have the Anscar Bruzy Cup from 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Times. And we have the Freaky Friday 2 Up Gentlemen Sim Racing Club from 7:45 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. So, guys, still plenty more action to be had for the rest of your week. So don't forget to tune in Thursday and Friday to those races. and check out the boys there. But
And Matt, I'll have to have a sneaky plug there. You will see me in the NSCAR Brucey Cup tomorrow night.
keep
I'm looking
forgetting
forward
about
to that
you,
one.
mate.
That's a sneaky plug, mate.
I keep forgetting about our own commentator, Aiden, will be in the NSCAR Brucey Cup. So go ahead and support him on that one, guys, and go watch the broadcast for that. But on that note, I am going to go pop a full packet of strepsils down the throat because I need it after tonight, Aiden. It has been an absolutely action-packed night, don't you think?
It has been, but just quickly before we close up, we just really need to add these sponsors again. Without them, we couldn't be doing this, as I said earlier in the broadcast. So the naming rights sponsor, again, Goodyear, Autocare, Warana, they make this happen. Co-naming sponsors, Blue Stampede, Labour Hire, and Abruzzi Australia. Thank you guys for coming on board. It's a pleasure to be a part of the broadcast that you guys allow us to have. But also, more upmost is Simshed Broadcasting and JP, who put on this broadcast for everyone to watch. He puts in a lot of work, and the team behind the scenes put in a lot of work to be able to allow us to watch not only the NTS series, but the NSCAR Brucey Cup and the Gentleman's Sim Racing on a Friday night. So thank you for that, and thank you for allowing us all to be a part of it. And the beautiful overlays that we have through SDK Gaming, that's really great. And also the camera packs that we have for Tracks for Gourmet. So thank you, guys. Get on and follow these guys, as I said earlier.
Nah, good stuff, mate. All the time, sponsors are the ones that actually back these broadcasts and makes it happen for not only us and the drivers, but you guys at home, for you guys to watch. And obviously, without the drivers, you wouldn't have anything to watch. So massive hats off. But on behalf of myself, or should I say myself, but on behalf of Aiden and our podium sitters tonight and our director, JP, thank you for joining us for the Simshed Broadcasting Sonoma SuperSprint for the Goodyear Autocare Warana V8-T2 E-Series. I'm Matt Davis. Enjoy the week, and we'll catch us next time.